Well, hi, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me here in my shop. It's August 2nd. A hot day. It was hot overnight, and it's already hot outside today, but I should not complain because it's nothing like the heat so many people are experiencing. Hopefully our turn won't come here. I know a lot of Canada is very, very hot, but right in this area, I mean, it's warm, but it's not outrageous. We don't have forest fires all around us or anything like that where I live. But I know other parts do, and other parts of the world and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, on that happy note, well, I have before me another radio. This is not the sort that I normally work on. This is a transistorized radio, and I'm usually working on tube radios. This is the first video of mine that you've watched. Thank you for tuning in, and just be aware that this is essentially a live video. I do my best to try to make these radios work. Usually I'm successful, but not always. And in some cases, I'm going to make mistakes and go off track and stuff like that. There's no script here. I'm not doing this live. There's no cut. Let's do that over. None of that happens. So, and I don't do very much editing at all. Okay, so let's take a look at this radio here. This is very similar to another radio I just did. This one's got the it's also Supersonic. It's the same. It's the same brand, has a slightly different look to it, but very similar otherwise. There's a big note. Hey, look, please don't put masking tape on these radios. This is a bad thing to do. Get this off. Power's on. That's all it does. What exactly does that mean? Power's on. Okay. Well, let's find out. Let's try it. First, which is practice a little bit here. Uh-oh. It's just like the last one. It won't tune. Well, the last one, it was just lubrication. I'll bet you this one's exactly the same. A little bit of lubrication. This is going to start moving again. But it says power. Maybe it's just stuck in a spot where there's no radio station, and the person who tested it was fooled. Now I'm going to plug this in, but it's not going into a regular outlet. In fact, it's going into. Let me just get rid of a few cords here. There, that's a little neater. Okay, so I power things on my shop through this extension cord, which is plugged into this voltage controlling box, which is further plugged into another isolation transformer in the background. This is an isolation transformer. I have another one. I have two in a row. I don't know why. I'm not even sure anymore. So long ago I set it up, I'm not even sure what I did. But in any case, plugging into here is not plugging in straight into an outlet. It's going through a isolation transformer. The ground prong, as you can see, is sticking out here. There's just a two-pole wire, just a two-conductor wire. There's no ground being brought up here. No power system ground or hydro ground, whatever you want to call it. And also, if I'm going to start something like this up, I have no idea what condition it's in. I don't just want to, let the power system have at it. So I use what's called a dim bulb system. It's not much of a system. I just make the power that's on its way here really, go through these light bulbs. So if there's anything seriously wrong, all that happens is the lights come on very bright. That's the situation. So we're going to plug in here. This is turned off right now. We're going to apply power and see what happens. 119 volts and nothing's going on. So we're going to turn it on. It's got a bit of a hum to it, that's for sure. We can't tune it. You can change to FM, AM. Turn it right up. So making one of these work that doesn't work like this is tricky business. The tuning thing is, I know how to deal with that, but it didn't seem to receive anything at all. How come? So I'm going to take the back off of this. Here, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do that without the video running and sneak in some coffee in the meantime too. Okay, here we are looking in the back of the Supersonic radio. 4 speakers again, only the last one I had in here, I chastised them because I didn't advertise the fact that it has 4 speakers. 4 speaker, AM, FM, solid state, no tubes. That's a selling point. Not in my shop, it's not, but okay, what is going on here that the radio doesn't work? Now, it's still just possible it's tuned between stations, and stuck there, but I got the impression, no, it's really not working. First thing to be suspicious of is the antennas become disconnected. And that's because there's a bunch of fragile wires kind of out front here. If somebody's poked around in here, they may have done something. Now that would, you know what, that would only be distracted. That would only be, wait a minute, did I not drink enough coffee just now? Or maybe I drank too much, I don't know. Only the AM side of the radio would be affected if these wires were broken here, and they don't appear to be broken at all. The FM side is getting its antenna. Believe it or not, this yellow wire is wrapped around the power cord and then brought out to a terminal here in case you want to use an external antenna. The real antenna is the power cord, and that's very common in FM radios. Some of them, rather than wrap a wire like this, they just have a metal clamp, and they just run the wire through the clamp, the power wire, and then just feed a wire from the metal clamp to the radio as the antenna. And the clamp is enough. It's not contacting any wires, it's just on the outside and just picking up the signal. So the thing about those radios is you got to stretch out this cord to get them to work. You can't have it like this. Is that why this thing didn't work? Very unlikely. There's more to it, for sure. So it seemed like a pretty simple thing to lubricate the tuning capacitor, which is right here, and get the pointer moving again, get everything moving again. So why don't we go ahead and do that? This wire just broke off. The fact is I can cut this other one off here and save myself a hassle. Fix that later. That's no big deal. That's less hassle. Is there anything we might see in here other than one of these wires being disconnected and just laying out here and spotting it? I don't think there's anything much to see inside. Okay. Remember to pull the knobs off the front here. Hey, what's that? That's a different nut down here. Now that's kind of odd. Why would there be a different nut? That is really odd. Only because somebody is kind of in here. And when I went to put it back together, they couldn't find the 4th nut. So they picked one out of their junk box. Oh, I've never done that. Oops. Okay, the last nut. Is it this size? Yeah. Very odd. Okay, there's a bunch of washers in there. They're going to drop out. Oh, knobs. deknobbed. Okay, let's collect the washers. Where's the fourth washer? Okay, now we have to take this plate off, the dial plate off. Got a little bit of time to talk here. Yesterday my wife and I went on a boat tour about an hour north of here, near a place called, oh, I forgot the name of the place. It's near Huntsville, but it's not Huntsville. We went out on a mid-size commercial boat, about 20 people on it, 20, 25 people, for a tour in Lake Joseph, Lake Rosso, and oh my god, Lake something else. We didn't go in Lake Rosso. These are the biggest, most popular lakes in Ontario when it comes to cottaging. And the cottages are multi-million-dollar cottages. I hate to say this, many of them owned by Americans. Some of the most wealthy Americans back in the early 1900s had cottages on these lakes. They're in an area called the Kawarthas. People might be familiar with that term, which is just north of me here. Those lakes are gigantic. Oh my gosh, we were out 3 hours on this boat. And then I looked at the map to see how much we had covered, and we hadn't covered 10%, not even 10% of these lakes. They are gigantic. Long, skinny lakes, weirdly shaped, not like a round bowl at all. I have to show you on a map for you to appreciate it. Okay. It's all good. Now we gotta get some oil down here. Let me turn it by hand first. Oh yeah, it's stuck solid. Stuck solid. Oh my gosh, this is real. There it goes. Ooh. Ooh. That is bad news. I think I used WD-40 on it in the end and got a good result for that. So we're going to try to spray some right down here. And we're going to let that sit for a bit. Maybe I'm going to turn this a little bit first. Just a little bit to get the oil to penetrate a little better. Ooh, this just feels terrible. It just feels... Maybe it's this thing too. The knob feels pretty good. Because these things are all strung together, it's hard to tell when you feel tension where it's coming from. Exactly. But I am tuning it. Take note. Yeah. So regardless of how tough it is, it works. Kind of surprising. The knob here, I have to put a lot of work onto this knob. What's going on with the string? What's been done here with the string? Something weird is going on there. You know what? Somebody else has done something with this pointer. I think that's what it is. Let's take a closer look here. What have they done? So I noticed already they'd shoved a piece of paper in there to try to increase the, I don't know, increase the what? And what is going on here? I think we pop it out of there. Usually the way these things work is they have a way of kind of, sorry about the focus here, give it a chance. See, this one, so it looks like this top piece here, the little piece in the middle. My thumb is too big to point with. And that wasn't even my thumb, that was my finger. This piece here that I'm touching right now is bent out. It should be bent down on the string. The string should probably travel, you know, this is a poorly made one, all right. Maybe I'm going to end up having to glue it back. Hey, where on the string was it? That's a good question. I thought I saw some stuff on the string that would mark it. I think it's right there. I better mark that before I lose track of it. Okay, so I'm going to give that oil a little bit of time, even though it doesn't seem to need it. And I'm going to take a moment here. I'll show you the lakes that we went boating on. Okay, I won't dwell on this, but so here's the city of Toronto, here's the city of Montreal, and obviously the Great Lakes here. And this is Ontario, kind of this big area here. Most of the people in Ontario live right in this area here, and up through here. And I live right where all these symbols are. What are they doing there? I don't know. I live here in Aurelia. I live north of this fairly large lake, Lake Simcoe. If you're here and you look, you cannot see across this lake. It's too big. But I live next to this lake here. This lake is called Lake Couchiching here. This is 20 kilometers long, and where I live it's 3 kilometers across. I look out my front window, I can see this shoreline over here. We went from here, we drove up to this area here, up to Port Carling. That's what I was trying to think of. Port Carling. Right here. We got in a boat and we putted up here and around here, down through here and up through here, and up to here and around and back, and we went back. That was 3 hours in a slow boat. It's a big slow boat, but still 3 hours. Holy smokes! So, how big are these lakes? Three hours again, just to make this relatively short journey from here to here to here. So here to here to here. So look, we could have boated all the way up here. Oh my gosh, all the way up through here. And there is a way, I think, to get down into this lower lake. There's Lake Muskoka here. I don't know if these are all connected, but I mean, you could spend a lifetime boating around in these spots. Just to give an idea how big they are compared to the Great Lakes. Here's my lake down here, 20 kilometers. Here's this lake. What's that, 60 kilometers altogether? Or 3 lakes in here? There's probably more lakes in here, in fact. Lots of lakes around here. You notice all the lakes are north of a line here. If you draw a line, there's hardly any lakes down here. They're all up north. This is all the Canadian Shield up here. Rock that doesn't drain water, so it pools it, and that's why there's just an endless number of lakes. This is Georgian Bay, and this is Lake Huron, and now you get an idea. Here's the lakes we were on. Give you an idea how big these lakes are. These are gigantic lakes. These are small seas, in fact. If you're from another part of the world, and maybe you're not spending time looking at this area, basically a huge portion of the population of North America lives in this circle here, right in here. There's a big population area right through here. Okay, That's got to be enough. Okay, now why has he put a piece of paper in here, or did the guy do that? I'm assuming some guy did that. How is it glued in? I think it's glued in. Well, maybe not. Why would you want it in there? How would this help anything? I don't know. So now I've taken most of it out, but not all of it. I'm in a worse spot here. I think if it were done by the factory, it would have looked just a little neater. So it has to slide on this plate easily. Not that way, this way. That's not too good. I gotta dig all that paper out of there now. Okay, not sure if that was worth doing, but it's doing now. Stuck the needle in my finger there. I've got needles in my fingers. Okay, so this isn't going to help the radio operate better though. Since I can tune it now, I can test it by tuning it and seeing if there's any, see if there's any. Is there any? Let's find out. Okay, so the volume was this one. With the on-off switch, we're going to switch it. I'm just making sure it's okay back here. Switch it on. Oh my gosh, I left the power on, but I don't have it plugged in. Good job, Jim. Off. Humming. Seems to hum better now, don't you think? Hums better. Where's the hum going? Now, if this is FM that I have it on, I'm not sure it is, and I don't have an antenna connected, there's really no chance of this thing doing much, but it should make a hiss. Okay, and then we want to switch it to the other band. Let's see if I can do that. There. Now either it's gone to AM or FM, I'm not sure which one's which. Turn up full. Hear a hiss. Don't hear any tuning effect, but as I said, we don't have an antenna on it because I cut the wires. Just go there for a bit, would you? Of course, it does have an antenna because it's always got an FM antenna. It's this cord. But you'd think it would pick up something here. I mean, we're not devoid of FM stations. Ooh, what happened there? Something happened. I have a feeling we're not going to be successful with this guy. Oh, there's nothing you can do out here. It's all back here. Is there something I'm overlooking? Something simple. Let's just see which way is which. So AM would be this way. this way. The switch is not very reassuring. What are the chances the switch is a problem? I don't think so, but what happened there? Where did that pop come from? I'm not spraying this stuff in case you think I'm spraying it everywhere. I'm using it as a stick. Okay, let's spray some stuff in here. What did I touch? Oh! I dare say we have found something going on here. Something a little odd right here. Let's take a look at it. Turn this down too. Don't. That's a little better. Let us look and see what we can see here. I think it was the black wire is the one I was touching. I've got the volume turned down a bit. Oh, look at the wire. Oh yeah, it's almost all off here. What's that big red thing there? This big red thing here. So it looks like the capacitor is soldered to a wire, and then they've gone and put shrink sleeve on it or something of that sort onto the joint. How come it's not crackling now? Now this wire, wow, that really looks like it's just on the verge. I'm waiting for the radio to come right to life, but so the thing is, you move anything, you move that bundle of wire, you move everything. You move anything, you move everything. This doesn't look very good either, where the capacitor is soldered. It's rotating right up close to where it's soldered here. See, like when I flex it, the whole thing moves a bit. And is that even soldered? Okay, you know what? I'm going to fix the focus because I can't stand waiting. So just bear with me a moment here while I deal with this automatic focus, which is really crummy on this camera. There. Now the focus won't change anymore. Okay. The capacitor is not soldered. Look at that. Huh. It's poking right through. It was soldered, and this other wire's not good either. Now, what has happened? That these two connections have been roughed up. How about even more, or more roughed up? Let's poke at these. probably flexing these other connections, getting the crackle. Well, they look okay. Well, they don't have any excess solder on them, that's for sure. Well, we'll solder that back and we'll see what happens, but I'd be a little bit surprised if this suddenly turns the radio on. Okay. I guess we should turn it off while we're doing this. We should. See, I know you were going to leave it on. I think just throwing solder on there is probably the best way to do it, as opposed to like this black wire, you know, cutting it, stripping it, and trying to refit it. Now the capacitor, tight in here. One of the reasons I like working on tube radios is that they're not so tight. Things are spaced out. A little easier to. All the components are kind of spaced out. I'm kind of spaced out, so why not? Okay, so I think I've stiffened that one. Let's take another look. We'll see what's happened here. Exactly a wonderful solder job either, but let's. Well, doesn't look much better. Capacitor's stuck. I got a big blob of solder on one side, but not much on the wire itself. I think I'm going to do that again. Problem here is I don't have my new glasses yet. Everything is blurry to some degree. I don't think the solder wants this. Oh, the wire is completely loose here. Yikes. Okay, let's take a look at that situation. I don't think it's going well. I mean, if this is the problem, I may have fixed it. Ooh. Oh, it looks like I soldered in a nice short there. That's what it looks like. There's a blob of solder down there. Son of a gun. Yeah, I think these are stuck together. Duh. Not sure new glasses would save that. Oh boy, The situation's going downhill. Downhill here. Such a simple thing. It's just... One of the things I find personally the most frustrating is when you try to do something, I'll do it the quick way. Before you know it, the quick way has become longer than the long way would have been. Okay, so the bridge is gone. Where's that confounded bridge? And see if we can pull some of this black wire. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some slack at the other end there. Okay, there's quite a bit of wire sticking out here. Why not just work with that? Yeah, there's no doubt about it. When you can't see, it's hard to do this work. In fact, I've had quite a number of people over the years write me and say that they used to do this work professionally back in the day, and they really enjoy watching me, and they'd be doing it too, but they can't see well enough to do it. And that has but it's a sad thing to hear. We all run that risk now. You know, with the upcoming complete revolution in society that's coming very rapidly, and that we hear about all the time, the AI and advancements in all kinds of everything, we'll probably reach a point fairly soon where nobody ever goes blind again. You know, for simple reasons. Okay. I think that has got to be soldered on there. Oh, I've melted off the... I gotta take a look at it. I've melted off... Looks like I've melted off the plastic covering. That's what I ended up with? Oh my gosh. I'm sure I can do a little better job of that. Oh boy, that's pretty close to a bad short there, isn't it? What's that look like here? I just moved the wire over. So if it wasn't for that excess wire and all that junk, I could cut that away. Just cut away the excess stuff. And the rest of it here, is it really soldered in? Oh yeah. So I'm going to cut away this excess stuff here. Yeah, you'd think fixing electronics, you know, you got a voltmeter in one hand the whole time, and you're looking at an oscilloscope the rest of the time. No, you're playing around with strings and pieces of wire like this. Hope I cut the right thing there. So the capacitor is actually soldered to that back one yet. This front one is not in contact, is it? No, it's okay. Okay, looks okay. But I'm telling you, if this makes this radio work, I'll be what? I don't know. I'll be something. Okay, so we go back to. Okay, that's off. So this is on with low volume. Kind of where we want to start. Plug it in. Did I say it wasn't plugged in? It is plugged in. Put the power on.
not taking no for an answer. It's just like everything you love about being Canadian is embodied in this team, and that's why I'm so in love with it right now.
Tough. Not tough on each other. Tough. You gotta be tough. Anybody who lives in a northern country, and there's all kinds of us that live in northern countries that have an extensive winter, you gotta be kind of tough, because that's the only way you get through the winter. Yeah, in the modern world, we just turn up the heat in the house, and it's not so tough, is it? But that toughness, I think, that's in the Canadian culture. It comes through as part of the culture from earlier days, where if you sat around all summer and played your banjo or something like that, where people play banjo in Canada, I don't know about that. Play whatever instrument you want to play, sit around all summer having a great time, you'd be dead halfway through the winter. So there's no time to waste when you're in a northern climate. That's what I would say. Okay, I'm going to go and enjoy some coffee now, and then we're going to put this back together. I have to figure out the pointer. Not a big deal. Okay, let's stick the pointer back on. And hey, this is loosened up a lot. Oh, that's much better. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to put the pointer on. I wouldn't mind putting it on the way it was intended. I still have some paper in there, but what does it matter? What does it matter? We'll see. The pointer's on an angle. The slide's okay. There shouldn't be, like, I don't think the paper's helpful at all. I think, if anything, it increases the friction. Metal on metal sliding here, there'd be no friction. They stick some paper in there and then pinching a little bit. I've got to get it out. I've got to get it out. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on with that dramatic thing on my own here. Okay, I'm still picking away here, but I can tell you a little more about our boat trip. Part of what the boat trip is about is looking at big, expensive cottages that are on these lakes. And thousands of cottages, I'm sure, because it's so gigantic. There's so much shoreline. You saw how the funny shape of those lakes are. That just means a huge amount of shoreline to build cottages on. The cottages we saw, you don't see the cottage too much. You see the boathouse down at the water. The boathouses look to me like they're probably valued in the range of $1 million. I would be doubtful if they're any less. And the cottages themselves, $1 million or a couple $1 million. Now, not all of them, of course, but I don't know if any of them would be priced in any kind of, quote, normal range. Normal range for a cottage. I don't know what to say about that. They're not cheap. A nice cottage, one that won't you can't be in the winter. Who wants to be there anyway in the winter? So it's not heated and all that kind of stuff. I think you got to roll out at least $500,000 to get one of those. At least. So that's a lot of money. Yeah, I'm sure you can find beater cottages for much less, but so I got to tell you, 3 hours of looking at how multi-millionaires. These are the richest people in North America owning cottages. Not all of them, again. It's just if you're a really rich person and you're living in this part of the world, you might very well have a cottage on one of those lakes. Airplanes at them, huge docks, probably $1 million docks, really. Boats, boathouses with 3 and 4 doors for 3 or 4 boats on them. I can't get this last piece of paper out of there. How am I going to do that? But I tell you, 3 hours of looking at how people with money live, and I believe me, I'm not complaining, and I'm not poor. Enough money comes in every month for us to live our lives here, but I don't own an airplane, and I don't fly myself to my cottage, and the like. Oh, for crying out loud! That little piece of paper, won't come out of there. A lot of the cottages were built in the late 1800s. And round through the 1930s. And it's surprising to me because I'm sure you have too. In the 1930s, I thought everybody was unemployed and everything was not working out. And there's a whole pile of paper right here. Son of a gun. Well, I think a lot of people were unemployed and a lot of people were desperate, but there were some who were not, and maybe even some that were making big money during the Depression years. You know, Depression years. That's when the American banking system failed again and dragged the world down, which it does about every, 30, 40 years. It seems to fail and drag everybody down. 2008, American banking failure. Why don't other banks fail in the world? Why is it always coming from the United States, the country that you'd think would not have bank failures? Lack of regulation. It's nothing more than that. So while the banks in the United States are flailing around and people are paying the price for it, in Canada the situation is different. Like the 2008 thing was very different in Canada from the United States. Our banks are heavily regulated, and I think they're happy to be in a safe zone. They're kept in a. It's not much chance of a general Canadian banking failure, as I understand it. We don't have the same system as the United States. I think I got the last piece out. So I really shouldn't talk about any of these things because. Here's a little bit of Jim's wisdom here. If I ask you for your opinion on almost any topic and tell you, come on, give me your opinion on it, you probably have one on almost any topic. And if you don't, you can probably generate one in a matter of a few seconds. Hey, what do you think of this? You can probably generate an opinion in just a matter of seconds. Maybe not valid, but see, it's nice and straight now. Nice sound of metal. Fantastic. Opinions. We've all got them. We've got them by the thousands. I've got thousands of opinions, don't you? You've got thousands of opinions. It's not really sensible to share our opinions. What's sensible is to share what we base our opinions on. In fact, that's really important, to expose what you're basing your opinion on so others can tell you why you're wrong. It's so simple. Okay, now, so it appears to me as if this piece of the little metal tang in the middle here has been bent up, and that defeats the whole purpose of the string clamp. This is supposed to be bent downwards, and you loop the string like this, and that should put enough tension on it to hold it in place, or enough physical force. Can I bend this? I did bend it. I bent it a little bit. Bend it just. So we just want to bend the tang below the height of these two things, so it's pulling the string down. I don't know what went on with this, but I don't think that's going to be good enough like that. So this is going this way. There isn't really enough. Yeah, see, it's just going to fall off. Maybe I do have to glue it. I hadn't bent this far enough yet. Now, how many times can you bend this? You need to bend it to the point where it's bent over completely, so it'll lock in the string. Pliers are a little big here. Ooh, I don't have the control. I'm going to bend it right down and it'll be gone. That might do it. Just go a little more. If I can just get a little more on it. No, I can't. Not with this. Not with these guys. I don't know how else I would. Got other pliers here. I've got some really thin tips. a little bit more bend on it. I don't know, doesn't look good enough yet. So another technique here for bending these things. You need to use pliers with teeth. They come like this. Not squeezing hard, you're just trying to trap it in the teeth and then literally push it over. I'm going to stab my hand. And, oh, I pushed it over, did I? No, still, no. What about tapping it? Hammering it down. Could try that. I don't think that moved it at all. I think I got it far enough. Let's try it again. I'm going to put it in the right spot because if it goes on, I don't want to leave it on. Down, under, and then up and over. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. That's not going to slide. Okay, we'll put the plate back on. Okay, and how about a screw? Where'd you go with the screws? Here they are, right here. Try as I may, I cannot break the habit of just putting screws down on my bench top without putting them, into a container or somewhere like that. You just put them down on your bench. Next thing you know, they're gone. Now, this has never happened to me, but maybe this has happened to you. You finish a project and it's all done and packed away and all. You look at your bench and there's 2 more screws sitting there. Now, this has never happened to me ever. But I've heard this happens to other people. Where do those screws come from? I don't know. Next project. So now if I can get this back together and it still works, then I get a special reward. I don't know what that is. What special reward? A long time ago, somebody said to me, Jim, the job should be its own reward. And I thought, wow, that's... Oops, sorry. That just blew your ears off there. A job should be its own reward. That's a very mature way of looking at it. You don't need the pat on the back. You just need to look for yourself at what you've done. It moves. Yeah. Hopefully I got it in the right spot, but some more loose wires. What's that? Just the antenna wires. I'll try and stick this back in. At least 2 nuts on it, and then we're going to check it. Two nuts to fix it in place. That's just to get it fixed in place, and I don't want to put them all on in case I have to take it off again. I don't think that's going to happen. So what do you think? Unbelievably lucky with fixing this, that I found that problem? Was it luck or was it skill? That's the question. If you're looking at that bump on my arm, which I'm sorry I am showing you, this thing here has probably caught your attention. That's just a small spot of skin infection where I have this itchy patch of skin. I don't know why. It hasn't been itchy for the last week. It's been here. And occasionally I've scratched it so hard, I ended up getting that infection. I'm just letting it do its thing. I don't want to poke around with it. I trust my body knows better what it's doing than I know. Okay, so we won't hook this up just yet. We will try the radio out. Let's see what we get here. With this radio, what do you think something like this might be worth? So this knob has a pointer. I bet you this one has a pointer. This one has a pointer. They all have pointers. Why would they do that? And then they... I don't want to push too hard. I didn't put all the screws in, so I don't want to push too hard. Tone, high, low. Ooh, that's not very good. Okay, we'll leave that on the tone control. I'll make this one into the switch here. Oh, none of these are very good. Oh, that's terrible. It's skipping right over. These are all bad. What did somebody do to this radio? There's a pointer, but there's no reason to have like an indicator. Oh, look at that. She's tuning. Okay. Yeah, seems to cover the whole range. Switch is, okay, power on. Here we go. A little hummy. We're on AM right now.
It's one of those things where I will just carry correctly. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw not the population disappear, but a notable amount, maybe like 10-15% of the entire population just kind of dispersing.
FM. FM with the cord all bundled up here. Come on, FM. Okay, FM with my hand on the bundle. Not so good. It's not so good. Not sure what this red light is supposed to be. It stays on when you put it on AM. It says FM, AFC, and below it says AM. I think the FM and the AM are really pointing to these, indicating what scale is here. AFC, automatic frequency control. So usually a light like this comes on for one of two reasons. You achieve stereo. Nowhere on this do they talk about stereo. They got 4 speakers, but nowhere do they mention stereo. The word stereo doesn't appear here. There's a chance this is not stereo. There's a better chance it's just not going to pick anything up. Oh, what did I hear there? I think I heard the string moving. It's a sorry tale. Yeah, chances of me getting the FM to work? Pretty low, I'm afraid. What we should do is we should hook up a much more extensive antenna on here, and even pump in a known signal from a signal generator, something like that maybe. I really don't think it's working, but let's try that. I'll pump in a signal from a signal generator, and the frequency is fixed at 100 megacycles, right in the middle, megahertz, right in the middle of the band here. So let's do that. Flip that on. Grab this is the RF output here. Put one lead here. I hear that, but that doesn't mean much. doesn't mean much. Put the other lead on here. Now, I get some settings correct over here. I pretty much can't go wrong. The RF is turned up high. This puts out a pretty good signal. 100 megacycles. There's nothing here for me to deal with. This is not stereo. All kinds of settings have to do with stereo and the 19 kilohertz pilot signal, all that stuff. Don't worry about that. Come around here. We trust we are now pumping a 100 megahertz signal into this radio. Come on back down. What do we get? Volume's full. 100 megahertz right here. She's not hearing it. Not hearing it at all. Okay, we'll tune right around. Must be a dirty switch. Doesn't seem like it. I think the FM is pooched. That's the technical term to be applied. There's just nothing coming on. No reaction whatsoever. This mysterious light is on all the time. Well, I think that's it. I think that's it for this radio. I don't think I want to pursue it any further. If I do, chances are I won't be working at all when I'm done. So maybe better off leaving it like this. You know, a radio like this is not worth really anything. Let's listen to the hum. Makes it sound like an old radio. Okay, somebody else can deal with the hum if they want. At some point, it's just probably a couple of capacitors in there, and it can be hum-free. I think that's all I'm going to do with this radio. We got it from nothing to something. Hey, that's pretty good. That's a step forward. Did I say from something to nothing? From nothing to something. Good. I'll just put the back on it, and we'll take a last look at it for some reason. Okay, so everything's good except this knob is so loose. If you turn the radio face down, the knob will fall out. So I just want to set it in there with a little more certainty. And the technique I'm going to use, I hardly call it a technique, for crying out loud. I'm going to shove some paper in there with it. And we'll see if this is enough to kind of the tricky part is getting the paper to start. So see, I left it a tongue hanging out. I'm showing you how this doesn't work, by the way. There we go. I put it on. Okay, it's not going to fall off. It's going to do the job. It's not going to. It's still going to fall off. You need more paper. This is a bad knob. Somebody must have just ground it right off. The teeth inside here that are supposed to mesh in there, they must have just gotten frustrated with the tone control. Well, maybe it wasn't the tone control in its earlier days. It may have been maybe doing some other job. Okay, let's see if we can do this. That's a lot of paper in there now. Okay, that's not coming off. There we go. That's how I fix those. That way, you know, you can pull it off easy. It's not a big deal. And there we go. Polish it up a bit. And I just put some revitalizing oil. Hey, I should use this on me. Maybe I'll revitalize. Okay. I think that's it for today. I might as well plug it in. Let her rip. So this becomes an on-off indicator light, I guess. Too bad about the little hum there. Put it on AM. And
Police officers sadly hurt both RRD and hospital. Seems like this one took a long time to get. Sort of. Bring away the cause for the town prospect. Not just every salary, so.
picks up stuff. That's good enough. Well, thanks a lot for watching. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm getting down to the bottom of the barrel of projects that I have, but I have something in mind that might be quite interesting involving some tubes. Okay, well, thanks a lot for watching, and I'm off to try and stay cool today. See ya.